What's good with the fight fans? It's your boy Kijana back with these fight predictions this week. UFC Beijing, Weili Zhang versus Jessica Andrade. The overall fight card's kind of, I don't know. I'm not really feeling this fight card, honestly. A lot of no-name fighters. Sometimes these kind of cards end up being really good, but there's a lot of no-name fighters. There's some fighters coming in on short notice, 4 or 5 days notice. Fighters that have been pulled from the card due to injuries and whatnot. So it's just like there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of low-level people on this card that probably shouldn't even be in the UFC. That's just my own opinion, though. Who knows? This might be a banging ass card. We'll find out. I did great on my last fight predictions. I think I only was wrong on 2 of them. The only one that surprised me was DC. I thought DC was going to get another finish versus Stipe. A lot of people were telling me, too, that Stipe was going to get the job done. But I was just one-track minded, and I went with DC, and DC was winning the fight all the way up to the 4th round, and those body shots really fucking took a toll on him. The body shots fucked him up. That's the first time that anybody's really went to the body. Everybody always tries to headhunt with DC, excuse me. And that was a great fucking game plan, dude, for him. I guess that's the blueprint on how to beat DC now. I guess people know, go to the body, the liver. But Stipe did a great job on that. I was right about Paulo beating Yoel. A lot of people said Yoel won 2 out of the 3 rounds. I don't really agree with that. I just feel like a lot of people are biased and they just like Yoel as a fighter. And not too many people are fans of Paulo just because of his attitude and his overall demeanor, his cockiness. And a lot of people think he's on steroids and shit. I mean, hey, he might be on steroids or he might have earned that body. I don't really know. But yeah, I was right about that fight. That was a fucking great fight. That was probably to me, like, it got fight of the night. But I also agree that it was fight of the night for sure. The most entertaining and the most action. And the Nate Diaz fight, I figured Diaz was gonna beat Pettis. I picked him to win. Diaz just has a bigger body frame. He pressured Pettis, which Pettis does horrible against pressure fighters. That's his kryptonite. He just cannot do well against pressure fighters because he has to use his kicks. He has to utilize his kicks, and if you're pressuring him, he can't utilize his kicks and nothing like that. So I mean, and he fucked his foot up in the first round. He broke that shit, or broke his ankle, or whatever it was. But it didn't look well. It didn't look good for Pettis at all. But yeah, that's my spiel on the last fight card. It definitely lived up to the hype. Okay, I'm going into the prelims. Karol Rosa versus Lara Procopia. Karol Rosa is a striker. Lara Procopia is a grappler. What is it? Karol Rosa, what's her record? I took a few notes because a lot of these fighters I don't really know too much about for this card. Karol Rosa's 11-3 record, 4 KO/TKO wins, 2 subs, 5 decisions. She's lost twice by sub and once by decision. She won her last 2 fights by TKO and sub, and she's a pressure fighter. She tends to walk her opponents down. She has a really big body frame for the weight division too. She's kind of husky, but it looks like she's in great shape. She does leave her chin to be hit. She doesn't have any head movement, and her kicks and front kicks are pretty fucking nice. It's weird because she's a pressure fighter, but she's somewhat of a counter striker because when she's pressuring the chicks, I notice in all of her fights, she tends to wait for them to hit, and then she'll try to counter and do whatever she can to whoever her opponent is. But it's like, I don't know, you don't tend to really see a pressure fighter who's like a kind of a counter striker as well. So she just waits for people to hit, and she does get hit. So I mean, but she's fighting someone who's more of a grappler, not much of a striker. Lara Procopia's 6-0 record. She's 1 TKO, 2 subs, and 3 decisions. She's also making her debut. She's won twice by armbar, so I'm guessing that's probably one of her best submissions. She kind of seems small for the weight division, though. I feel like she's going to be really small against Karol Rosa. It might play an advantage for Karol Rosa being that big, or it might not, depending on the weight cut. But Lara is a grappler. She has great takedowns, and she's relentless with her takedowns. She keeps going for him. She keeps going for him until she gets at least one of them. If she can't get it, then yeah, she just keeps trying for him. That's what I noticed in her fights. So I'm gonna roll with Procopia. I feel like she's relentless with that shit, and she'll probably get a 2nd or 3rd round submission victory, or a split decision victory. Either way, whoever uses their game plan to their advantage is going to win this fight, and I feel like Procopia is probably going to win it. Haley Alateng versus Dana Batjarel. I didn't do any research. This is a fight that they just added. This fight they just added to this fight card, so Yeah, they should have just kept it with 10 fights, man. I don't know what the fuck the UFC is doing with this shit. Trying to, like, bring all these, like, random-ass people that are kind of low-level fighters, in my own opinion. They're both making their big debuts. Haley is 12-7-1. Donna is 6-1. 135-pound weight division. I'm going to roll with Donna, back girl. He has a 50% KO rating. I don't usually like to go off just paper. I like to research my fighters before I pick them. So if anybody knows about these fighters, drop some comments and let me know what you think. But I'm gonna roll with Donna to get the, or Dana, whatever, however you say the fucking dude's name, to get the win. This fight's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to the Damir Ismagulov versus Thiago Moises. Damir, 18-2 record from Russia. On a 3-fight win streak. He's a fucking finisher, dude. Very well-rounded, very well-rounded. His striking's pretty precise, and his wrestling, dude. His wrestling's great. Vicious looping left hooks. He has an unorthodox fighting style, so you don't really know like what he's gonna throw. And his kicking game is really strong as well. Like he has some good kicks in his arsenal. His flying knees are really good too. He has the height and reach advantage in this fight. I think he has a 3 or 4 inch reach advantage on Thiago Moises. And Moises, I'm gonna get to him real quick. 12-3 record, 3 decision losses, coming off a decision win over Kurt Hollabaugh. I watched that fight. It was all right. Lost to Beneil Dariush prior to that fight. He has 4 KO/TKO wins, 3 sub wins, fast hands, and he has really good T kicks. His T kicks, he uses that a lot in his fights to keep distance and range, but they're very crisp. His body kicks are good. So I mean, he hasn't fought anybody with this kind of he hasn't fought anybody of significance, honestly. Kurt Hollabaugh, he's pretty basic, but this is a significant name right here, man. Damir's no joke. I'm rolling with him. I feel like he's gonna get the job done. And Thiago Moises is still on the rise. Both of these fighters are on the rise, but I feel like Damir has more fight experience, and he's kind of already he's already established his name in the UFC a little bit, just off a few of his fights that he had, and he's fucking well-rounded, man. I feel like he's the real deal, and he has good cardio as well. So I'm rolling with Damir to probably get a finish, second round, or just grind it out and get a unanimous decision. Next fight, Da-Un Zhang versus Khadis Ibragimov. Da-Un Zhang, he was supposed to fight somebody else. He was supposed to fight Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill was coming in on short notice though, so I don't know about anything about Khadis. I do know a little bit about Da-Un. I watched a few of his fights. He's 10-2 record, 8 KO/TKO wins, 1 sub, and 1 sub loss, 1 decision loss. So he's never been knocked out. He's on a 19-fight win streak though, which is pretty insane. He's 6'4" for the division, which is it's a decent size, man. They're both making their debuts. Other guy's 6'2" from Russia, 8-0. He has a high fight IQ too. He sets up his takedowns pretty nice. Uses combos, his punching combos, and then goes for that takedown. So he chain wrestles really well as well. So I mean, he's a high volume striker. Doesn't have the best cardio. He has a really big body frame though for this division. 6'4". I mean, he could be a heavyweight if he really wanted to. I was gonna roll with Jamal Hill on this one, even though he was coming on short notice. But Jamal Hill is not fighting on this fight card, so I'm gonna roll with Khadis. I feel like he's gonna be the hungrier one. I feel like he's probably gonna have the advantage somewhere against this guy. And Da-Un Zhang's cardio just didn't seem that great to me. I felt like he gassed out at the end of the first round when I was watching most of his fights. But I mean, fuck, man. It's hard. He's on a 19-fight win streak. I feel like that 19-fight win streak's gonna go away after this fight. This could go either way. I don't know anything about the other dude. So, but I'm gonna roll with the dude I don't know nothing about, which is kind of ironic. Yeah, I feel like he'll probably get the finish if his cardio holds up. Because 4 or 5 days notice, man, that's pretty fucking crazy. I mean, most of these guys still train year round. Even if they don't have a fight coming up, they're still training. So it's like, yeah. Next fight, Su Madari versus Andre Sukumtha. The Asian sensation. Okay. 13-7 versus 10-4. Man, Andre Sukumtha, man. His fight IQ is so horrible. This fight IQ is so horrible, dude. Like, I don't know if he's been hit in the head too many times. I don't want to, like, talk shit about the guy, but, dude, the fight against... I still can't believe he kept going for a takedown versus fucking... what's his name? Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's foot. He was hopping on one fucking leg. Like, how are you hopping on one leg and then you're... I guess his adrenaline was just kicking in so much that his natural instinct was telling him, go for the takedown, go for the takedown. It was the stupidest fucking thing he could have did, dude, because he could have won that fight. He could have kept kicking that fucking leg, that one hop, no, the leg that he was hopping on, O'Malley or whatever, or he could have just fucking kept punching him, dude. O'Malley's literally leaning on the cage on one leg, and you go for a takedown. Like, you've got to be a fucking idiot to do that, dude. I'm sorry, but... Like, Andre Sukumthat's fight IQ, it pisses me off watching this guy, honestly, because it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I guess if you have that much... I've never been in a UFC fight, so fuck. I guess if I had that much adrenaline and I was just trying to do what I know, I guess maybe that could happen to me too, but it's like, damn, dude, like... he's a hit or miss fighter too, man. Andre Sukumthat, when he shows up, he's great. When he shows up, he's great. When he fought Luke Sanders, it was a great fight. He finished that shit quick. But when he doesn't show up, it's horrible, dude. He lacked confidence in that fight versus Sean O'Malley, and O'Malley just picked him apart, dude. He's never been finished. He has 7 decision losses, so that's really good. He's durable as fuck. He's fought some big names like Montel Jackson, like I said, Sean O'Malley, Alejandro Perez, Albert Morales, Brian Kelleher. Had impressive performances versus Luke Sanders and Jonathan Martinez. He hits pretty hard. Good takedowns. He was piecing Alejandro Perez up, though, in that fight. I think he knocked him down once or twice. And Alejandro Perez, he still got the split decision. So, I mean, Andre Sukumthat came up short in a lot of his fights. I think he's 2-4, 2-5 in the UFC right now. Doesn't throw enough leg kicks, though. He relies too much on his boxing and his wrestling. But, yeah, man. Su Maderi, let me see. 9-3 record from China, 8 KO/TKO wins, 1 sub, 3 sub losses. He lost his last fight to Luis Smolka. Luis Smolka's it seems like he's coming back a little bit. He was on a hot streak when he first got in the UFC, and then he just fell off. Started fighting more higher caliber opponents. But Luis Smolka's not a horrible fighter, so that's not a bad loss to have on your record. He's a low volume, nice side kicks, and he keeps his range while he's the way he wants it. So yeah, his range is pretty good for his fights. I watched a few of his fights. He hits hard. He's explosive when he wants to be. Very inexperienced on the ground. So Andre Sukumthat, if he can somehow have a better fight IQ than this guy, he'll get the win. But if he has a dumb fight IQ, he's fucking gonna lose, man. Because it seems like in most of his fights, he's just not thinking. Like, he's not thinking. I don't know what the fuck's going through this guy's head. But I'm gonna roll with Andre Sukumthat, surprisingly. I didn't pick him against O'Malley. I didn't pick him against Alejandro Perez. I didn't pick him against Albert. I didn't pick him against anybody because I can't go with this dude's IQ. It worries me. It really worries me, dude. So yeah, but I'm gonna roll with Andre Sukumthat, man. I hope he gets the win. I hope he shows that he's not a complete idiot in the UFC and he can actually like do what he does, you know. Next fight, Jun Young Park versus Anthony Hernandez. Okay. This is actually a fight I'm looking forward to watch. Anthony Hernandez is not a bad fighter. He's still on the rise, and there's not really much to go off of for this guy. He's 7-1 record, California native. Hey, represent. 0-1 in the UFC, 4 subs, 2 TKO wins. Quick KO win on the Contender Series. It was nice. It was very precise. He hits hard, fast punches, composed fighter. He lost his debut to Marcus Perez, which Marcus Perez is kind of a... I wouldn't say Marcus Perez is a horrible fighter, but he's not a great fighter. He's just an average fighter. So, yeah, it was on like a week and a half's notice in Brazil. He got the submission victory over him. And, yeah, he was on a 7-fight win streak before that. They call him Fluffy because he's a little fluffy, and he's got a big body frame for the weight division. But he hits hard, man. He has a nice sub game. So, I mean... This is going to be an interesting fight. Jun Young Park, 9-3 record from South Korea. He's making his debut. He's on a 6-fight win streak. 4 KO/TKO wins, 3 sub wins, 2 decisions, 1 sub loss, and 2 decision losses. Average striking, decent takedown defense. He's a very slow starter though, from what I watched. I mean, maybe that's why they call him the Iron Turtle, because he's durable, but he just starts very slow, but he can finish, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird nickname to have, but yeah, he's a fucking slow starter. He does hit hard, never been knocked out. So this might be the first time he gets knocked out. This could go either way though, man. They're both 6 foot. They both got kind of big body frames as well. But I'm gonna roll with Anthony Hernandez, man. He wants that 50K. He needs that 50K. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with him to get the KO or the TKO victory. I feel like he could get the job done. Next fight, Song Kenan versus Derek Krantz. D-Rock versus the Assassin. Oh man, I don't know why they put Derek Krantz versus Vicente Luque on short notice. They did him so dirty with that shit. Like, they shouldn't even have put him. They shouldn't have put him against Vicente Luque, man, or Luque. Like, it was just fucked up, dude. Because we already all knew what was gonna happen. Everybody knew what was gonna happen. Derek Krantz has 23-11 record, 11 subs, 10 KO/TKOs. He's been around for a minute. 3-fight win streak before his short notice debut versus Vicente Luque. That was on a 5-day. It was crazy. It was on 5 days' notice, and he had to cut 25 pounds. That's a lot of weight to cut in 25 pounds. I wrestled in high school, and weight cutting fucking sucks, so I know all about that. But this guy's a durable, gritty fighter, man. He's really good with his takedowns. He has a full training camp this fight, so it's going to make a big difference. He lost 5 times by sub, 3 by KO/TKO. Yeah, man, I feel like they're just kind of sending Derek Krantz to lose in China. Like, they're giving Song Kenan this fight just so Song can get back on a winning streak because he's coming off of a loss. But I feel like, I don't know, man, he has the reach advantage by 4 inches. He's a pressure fighter. He starts early. He starts off very early, and he comes in hot. He comes in like, yeah, if his cardio can hold up, I feel like Derek Krantz can honestly get the job done if he can just come out strong and just do what he does and pressure this motherfucker. But he has good dirty boxing. He's very flat-footed, though, and he's very one-dimensional on the feet. I don't see him throwing too many kicks. He just uses his hands, but he does punch hard. Song Kenan. This guy trains with Mike Perry, so you already know he's gonna be pretty decent. Fighting out of China, 7 KO/TKO wins, 6 subs, pretty well rounded. This guy is super flat-footed as well, man. Tends to gas out around round 1. Punches very hard. Only KO loss was to Israel Adesanya. If you guys want to go back and watch that video on YouTube, it wasn't a bad fight. He lasted a little while too. I think it was in the 2nd or 3rd round. But Israel Adesanya just made him look like a fool. His overall movement was just so much better. Song Kenan is very stiff, very flat-footed, and stands in place when he's striking and shit. So he's there to be hit. Lost his last fight to Alex Morano by unanimous decision. This guy is a finisher, though. He has 3 decision losses. He can definitely take punishment. He was taking punishment against Israel Adesanya, and that fight was a while ago. But like I said, oh yeah, and he has some really nice leg kicks. But like I said, I feel like they're just bringing Derek Krantz out there to just get a loss, and to build Song Kenan's record back up for the Chinese fan base out there as well. Yeah, I mean, Kenan's 6 foot, Derek Krantz is 5'10", but with the reach advantage. I'm gonna roll Derek Krantz, man. I kind of hope he wins because I don't like when they just send people out to the slaughterhouse and they automatically count motherfuckers out and just send you off to this random ass area. Okay, go take this fight, but they're expecting them to lose on the low. So I mean, I'm gonna roll with Derek Krantz. I feel like he can get the job done. He's the underdog too, so yeah. Wu Yanan versus Mizuki Inoki. I don't know much about either of these chicks, man. This is another short notice fight, 4 or 5 day notice fight. Wu is 10-2 record from China. Mizuki is 13-5 record. She's making her debut. She's from Japan. I think I watched Wu already fight in the UFC before. I don't remember who she fought. She's 5'8". Other chicks 5'4". Man, this is going to be a crazy matchup because they're in Beijing. China versus Japan, man. They have a lot of history. Wu has a 60% KO rating. Mizuki has a 69% sub rating. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do any research on these two chicks. I should have looked them up. But if you guys know anything about these chicks, drop some comments. Let me know who you think's gonna win and why. It'll really help me out with some of my predictions as well. I'm gonna roll with Mizuki. I feel like she's gonna come in hot, especially if she's making her debut. And she's gonna use that ground game. If she can use the ground game and get a submission in the first or second, then yeah, that'd be pretty dope. I'm gonna roll with her to get the win. Excuse me. Next fight. Who is the next fight? Oh yeah, Mavzar Evliov versus LV Zhang Hong, Bull Demon King. That's his nickname. All right, roll with that. Yeah, Mavzar was supposed to fight Mike Grundy. Mavzar Evliov is 11-0 record, fighting out of Russia. 3 KO/TKO wins, 4 subs, 4 decisions. M1 global champion. This guy's legit, man. I watched some of his fights. He's really good, really well-rounded. Came off of a win in his debut to Sungwoo Choi. I picked Sungwoo Choi to actually beat him because I needed a cheap fighter on DraftKings, and I picked him. But he ended up losing by unanimous decision. He still got a few points, but Sungwoo gassed out. I thought he was going to use his reach advantage and his kicks to his advantage, but he didn't end up using it. He had a great performance, though. It was a good fight. Very good level changes and takedowns. Doesn't really rely on his knockout power because he knows he can get the job done if it goes the distance. He's really durable and has great cardio. His overall technique for like everything that he does is just really up to par. It's UFC level. It's UFC caliber. He's a grinder though, man. He'll grind motherfuckers out until they gas, and then that's when he finishes you. So he has good ground and pound, top game, and he has a Greco-Roman background. He's been doing that shit since he's a kid. So this guy is legit. That's why he's 11-0. He's fought some pretty decent people as well outside of the UFC. So yeah, I don't know shit about this other guy. I did research on Mike Grundy, but as you guys all know, Mike Grundy is not fighting in this on this card. I was actually looking forward to seeing him fight. His last performance was great. Who'd he fight? Who'd Mike Grundy fight? Was it Nad? No, it wasn't Nad Narimani. It was Nad Narimani. Yeah, he fought him back in March. But yeah, man, Mike Grundy, 12-1. He's a durable fighter. I was really looking forward to watching him fight in this card, but it's not happening. I'm definitely rolling with Mavzar. The other dudes, I don't know shit about, but he's coming on really short notice to a high caliber opponent. So I'm gonna roll with Mavzar to get the finish in the second or third, and maybe shit. Actually, I want to say that these guys have fought before. Yeah. Mavzar beat this guy. I'm pretty sure. A few years back, he won by unanimous decision, if I can remember correctly. But yeah, you guys will have to look that shit up. I honestly don't remember, but I feel like he did fight this guy. This name looks familiar. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Mavzar on this one. Next fight, Kai Kara France versus Mark De La Rosa. Yeah, Kai Kara France, New Zealand versus United States. Kai Kara's 19-7 record, 9 KO/TKO wins, 3 subs, 7 decision, 2 TKO/KO losses, 2 sub losses. Trains at Tiger Muay Thai. Great kick game. He hits hard. Nasty right hook, man. His right hook is really good. He's on a 6-fight win streak. I feel like he could be the future of this division. His last performance didn't really show it to me. I feel like his last performance against Paiva wasn't that great. Like it was decent. I thought he was going to be able to finish Paiva, but as we all know, Paiva's a fucking really good fighter, up and coming fighter. His last performance, he had a doctor stoppage with the cut. But going off topic, yeah, this dude Kai Kara France, he's really well rounded. Got great cardio. His takedowns are good. He's a fast starter in high volume. He's explosive. So if he taps that chin, man, it's done. You might go out. You might go to sleep. They call him Don't Blink for a reason because he puts people to fucking sleep. And he's a really good fighter, man. He's the real deal. But I was just impressed by his last performance. Mark De La Rosa, 11-2 record, 1 KO/TKO win, 6 subs, and 1 sub loss, 1 decision loss. He's a grappler, BJJ background, good clinch and takedowns. Started boxing at a very early age. I watched not a documentary, but it was like a little like a montage kind of video of like his background and shit on YouTube. He's pretty crisp striking. Lost his last fight by decision to Alex Perez, which that's not a bad loss to have on your, especially a decision loss to Alex Perez. That guy's legit too. His one loss was by Anaconda choke to Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott was on the rise for a while too. But this guy's a well-rounded fighter, man. A lot of people are counting Mark De La Rosa out. I'm not counting him out, but I just feel like Kai Kara France is gonna just edge him. He's gonna edge him. Points wise, it's probably gonna go to decision. If Kai doesn't catch him with something, it's gonna go to decision. And if Mark De La Rosa can't get him to the ground, it's definitely going to decision. Yeah, I'm rolling with Kai Kara France. Feel like he's gonna have a 3-to-1 volume, like just striking volume against Mark De La Rosa. And De La Rosa, he better be able to get this dude to the ground, because if he can, he's gonna get pieced up on the feet. De La Rosa's striking is decent, but it's just not up to par to Kai Kara's. Kai Kara's striking and footwork and shit is just better to me, in my own opinion. Next matchup, man, Li Jingliang versus Leski dos Santos. Or Elizo dos Santos. I think that's how you say his name. I still can't pronounce this guy's name, and I've watched him fight at least 7 or 8 times now. But yeah, Li Jingliang, 16-5 record. Dos Santos, 21-5 record. Both coming off wins. I mean, what can you really say? Like, Li Jingliang he's legit. Dos Santos is legit. And we're gonna find out who fucking gets the job done this Saturday, man. Capoeiro versus the Leech. Li Jingliang, man, this guy fucking hits hard. He's durable. He can take a punch. He's relentless. Like, he just keeps coming at you. And he's a pressure fighter, dude. This motherfucker doesn't stop. Li Jingliang, man, he's a tough son of a bitch, dude. Like, he hasn't fought in the caliber opponents as Dos Santos has, but I feel this is going to be his toughest test yet. This is going to be the hardest fight that he's had so far, because Dos Santos is so unpredictable with his capoeira background. You don't know what he's going to throw. You don't know if he's going to do some kind of spinning kick on you, if he's going to take you down and submit you. And one thing I'm worried about in this fight is Li Jingliang. If he can't keep it on the feet and Dos Santos takes him down, he's going to submit him just like he did Curtis Millender. Curtis Millender, the only chance Curtis Millender could have beat Dos Santos, was to keep it on the feet, and which he could not. And Li Jingliang, it's going to be a really tough matchup for him, because Dos Santos is a smart fighter, dude. His fight IQ is really good. And he has the reach advantage. So, yeah, they're both 6 foot. Dos Santos is explosive as fuck. Knockout power, 67% KO rating, KO/TKO rating versus a 44% KO/TKO rating. They're both knockout artists. But I just feel like Dos Santos might edge him, man. My first instinct was to pick Li Jingliang. Something's telling me to pick Dos Santos, though. But I'm going to roll with my instinct, man. I'm going to roll with Li Jingliang to get a KO/TKO victory in the 2nd or 3rd round. All right, I got to wrap this bitch up. These dogs are about to be barking out here. Jessica Andrade versus Zhang Weili. Jessica Andrade, she's just way more well-rounded than Zhang. I feel like they're just kind of giving Weili this fight because there's not really anybody else that Jessica Andrade can fight in the division at the moment. Jessica Andrade's 19-6 record versus Zhang's 19-1 record. Zhang is 3-0 in the UFC. Yeah, Brazil versus China. So she's fighting in her backyard. Zhang's fighting in her backyard. If it goes to decision, Zhang could definitely get the win, get the edge on her. But Jessica Andrade's, her grappling's just way better. I think Zhang has 100% or 80% takedown rating now. Let me look real quick. Oh, yeah, she has 100% takedown defense. But is she going to be able to stop Andrade from taking her down? I highly doubt that, man. Andrade's a powerhouse, dude. She's stocky as fuck. She's built. And she throws bitches down like a man. Like, she really does. Like, the way that she did Rose Namajunas was so cold. Like, it was so cold. Like, I picked Rose to beat her. Rose was piecing her up, using that distance and range very well. And Zhang has the reach advantage, so I think that she could do the same thing. But if she gets taken down and can't get up, this is all Jessica Andrade. I don't know why they still have her ranked 15 on here when she's the champion. They need to update that bitch on the UFC website. But anyways, yeah, that's my predict. I'm gonna roll with Zhang Weili to get the job done. I want to say she might even be the first Chinese champion if she wins this. So there's a lot at stake for this fight. I kind of want to see Zhang Weili get the job done. I like her as a fighter. I've never really been a huge fan of Jessica Andrade, but when you're doing these predictions, you can't really go off of who you like and who you don't like. Andrade's a great fighter. She has more to offer than Zhang, but I am rolling with Weili to get the job done. She's a super underdog, and I just feel like she could definitely. She probably could outstrike Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade's known to gas out, man. She's known to gas out around the second, maybe the middle of the third round. And this is a 5-round fight, so this is going to be Zhang's probably first 5-round fight. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, those are my fight predictions. If you guys want to subscribe, like, drop some comments in there. Tell me who you guys are picking and why. Yeah, hopefully you guys all enjoyed the fight card. It's going to be at fucking 12 a.m. over here in Cali, so United States, that's going to kind of suck. I don't know. I'm probably not going to be watching it. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. Depends if I'm already up. But yeah, you guys enjoy the fight card, and I'll catch you later.